Hello, hello. This is Melissa from Melissa Ray & Company. Today I'm going to show you how you can take an SVG and break it up so you can cut it and assemble it to be larger than your mat. Today we're going to be making this cute little Pluto for me to put kind of around my Christmas tree. So first we'll go into Design Space and I can show you how to manipulate the file. Then we will be showing you how to assemble. We're in Design Space, getting ready to prepare our file for our larger than matte paper project. So we are going to go over to Images, and we are going to find our buddy Pluto, and he's right here. We will have to pay $1.99 in order to get this file because it's licensed, and I am okay with that. I would like him to be 24 inches. That's how big this size is in front of the area that I'm going to put him. And since he filled the canvas, I'm going to just change the zoom so I can see him. One thing I like to do is have a copy of the project that I'm trying to build up in the left corner. So I'm actually going to duplicate the copy that we will be working on today. The first thing we're going to do is ungroup him. And if you look over to the layers panel, any of these caution triangles represent a layer that is going to be too big to cut on the mat. So those are the ones that we're going to have to change today. There's actually a couple more because like this one here, Pluto, he's big enough to fit on a 12 by 24 mat, but for our cardstock we only have 12 by 12 pieces, so we'll actually have to manipulate that one too. But all I'm doing right now is just separating the layers so I can see what I'm working with. Now these three layers right here, if you look, are smaller than 12 by 12, so they are all set and they are ready to go already. So I'm just going to put them to the side. And the first one I'm going to work on is this base layer. So it is ready. And I'm going to do this by selecting a shape. I'm going to pick a square. And I'm going to make this square 11.5. And the reason why is because that's the biggest size that we can make each piece so it will cut on the mat. And I am going to duplicate this a couple times. I'll set these aside. So what we're trying to do right now is just take this layer and separate it into smaller chunks to cut. So I'm just going to start by putting this square over this piece here, selecting them both. So if you look, they're both selected in the layer. There can only be two when you're slicing, and there are two. And I'm going to slice. So if we pull these aside, we see that we freed a piece right here. And I'm just going to keep doing this over and over again until I free all my pieces. I do want pretty decent sized chunks, so when I'm putting them together later, I have less pieces to tape. And I have made the mistake before. If you don't zoom in enough, sometimes when I cut, I'm making little tiny slivers, and you don't want that either. So I'm just going to put that right near this piece here without making any tiny slivers. I'm going to select the square and the base, and I'm going to slice. And before I get too far, I'm going to make sure, yeah, that looks perfect. Let me zoom out here. I'm going to take all these discarded pieces. We don't need those. We're just going to delete them. And I'm going to put this down here with my ready to cut file. Now see this little piece right here. He's small enough to be on a mat himself, but he's still connected to this big layer. So we're just going to take our square, put it over that piece, select the 2 layers, and slice. And that will then be able to be freed from that layer. And we'll delete those. And we only have this piece left. I think that's a good place to cut. So we're going to select those 2 layers and slice. And then you can see this one's still too big. So I'm going to probably cut through his head right there. I think that will be good. Let's slice and check it out. So that has made this piece, oh, this piece is just a little too big. You don't want it any bigger than 11.5. That one's fine. So we're just going to take one more piece here. Let me just get a new shape. And we're just going to cut this one in half as well. Get rid of our gray layers. Those will both fit perfectly. We're just going to put them aside, just like a little puzzle. And get rid of that. So our base layer is ready. You can make it look a little better if you want. Really, it's just a visual for us. It's going to cut fine. It's ready to cut. All right, and just again for the visual, let's choose all of our black pieces here. I'm just pressing Command. I think it's Control on a computer to select my black pieces, and then I'm just going to group. Then that way it can move on the canvas. I'm not going to keep accidentally moving it out of order. Then I'm going to select that. I'm going to put it to the back so I can start building on top of it. Again, this is just to look at. It's just to give you a visual. All right. Next layer I'm going to do is this. I'm going to keep that one for the end and this one for the end. Let's do this red layer. Just picking my square. I'm going to put it over this hat piece here just to free it from the rest of the layer. Slice that out. That's ready. Again, I could duplicate a bunch of squares and have them on the side. It really doesn't matter to me. I just pick them when I need them, but you can certainly have some ready to go. I'm actually going to slice this right in the middle, pick these pieces here, slice, and we've freed that middle piece. And now we just are going to do the same. So I'm going to select this one piece, Control or Command, select that piece and slice. We freed all of our red now. Our bow. I'm just going to put these pieces we don't need all together, select them all. So this one's nice and easy. We just need to free all of these individual pieces. We freed those two. I think they go about here. And these are actually free as well, and small enough to cut. All right, our next piece here is going to be our Pluto. We're gonna separate him a little differently. I'm actually going to duplicate him, and then I'm going to get rid of this piece here. The reason why I'm doing it this way is if I try to put the square over and slice, I could slice out some pieces I don't want to slice. But since all I need to do is separate the different pieces, I'm going to contour it. So I selected my piece, I'm going to contour. For this first one, I'm just going to get rid of Pluto's face. So it leaves you with the body, and it's within the 12 by 12, which is perfect. I'm going to select this piece and contour, and now I want to hide everything that's not his face. And I know that since the top layer is his face, all I have to do is press hide all contours, and it's going to hide everything except for that top layer. X out here, so now I have his head and I have his body. And now for the last piece, all we want to do is free all of these little green pieces. So, same way that we've been doing it all along. Oops. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger just in case. I don't want to clip the end off. Slice that. And for these last pieces right here, I'm going to do that contour again because, again, I don't want to slice really close to another piece and then accidentally slice into it. So I'm going to contour. We don't want to do that yet. We want to duplicate first. Then for this one, we're going to contour. I'm going to take away the top two pieces. And I'm going to select this one and contour. And I'm going to take away the two bottom pieces. And as you can see, when I select them here, in the layers here, they also select. So we have that piece there. Now we can just kind of assemble it. Again, this is just for us visually. Make sure we have all of our pieces right. I'm going to discard these. I'm actually going to hide this reference. And I'm going to show you if we go to Make It Now. Each one of our mats has all of our pieces. They all fit 12 by 12. It looks ready to go. So I'm just going to save this as Pluto gift, and we will now cut it up. Project today, we're going to pick medium cardstock. I'm using AC cardstock, which is a 80-pound weight. So that's going to work fine. When I do the black cardstock, I might change it to heavy cardstock, and that's only because it does seem to cut a little bit differently with the black. I'm not sure if it's the pigment that they put into the paper or what, but it does seem to cut a little bit differently sometimes on my black cardstock. Alright, so I am loading the mats and let's start cutting Pluto out. Alright, we're about to get to cutting here, and I took the mats on the screen and I put my paper in that order, so they're ready to go in the order that they're going to be cut. So we're going to start with the white. I am just going to use my light grit mat, and it is on its way out. I'll be getting a new light grip mat soon. But this will work for now. And let's go cut. Let's see how we did. One thing I will mention, that when I'm cutting a lot of paper like this, every couple cuts, I will take my blade out and I'll just kind of clean it off, make sure that there's no paper on the blade, because I don't want it to interfere with the next cut. We're here ready to assemble our Pluto. I'm going to put my other colors aside. We're going to concentrate on the black, which is the base. And I'm just going to start putting these together like a puzzle. I do have my design space open, and I have the picture of Pluto up, so I know where everything's supposed to go. And that there. There we go. And so once I get them all pieced, I'm going to flip this whole thing over and just start taping on the other side. And when we go to tape these together, we just want them butt up against each other really, really well, so you don't see any lines. And I'm just using regular old Scotch tape today. I'm going to start in the middle. And this is on the back side, so I am using a matte tape, but that's okay. You won't see it. And we're going to get his head on there now. I've kind of been working a little bit on this just because there were so many pieces and I just wanted to get them started. But I will finish up now. And we're just lining all the pieces up. We want to make sure we have all of the pieces lined up before we start gluing. And I do have my computer set up so I can see the picture in Design Space. I'm just going to keep doing this. Alright, so we got them all lined up and we are ready to glue. The glue I'm going to use today is the Scotch Tacky Glue. It's one of my favorite glues for cardstock. And I just want to make sure everything's lined up perfectly as I glue it. I think I'm going to start with the bow. I'm just going to do a thin layer. You can use adhesive tape. I just really like this glue. And it looks like with this design, we're doing about a 1/4 inch around all the black borders. Excellent, excellent. There he is. And we could put something on the back here to make him a little more sturdy, a foam board or even a little bit of heavier poster board. But he is all done.